What is up, man? Hang
What's
on.
going
Let me
on?
let me there we go. There we go. You know, I was going to play this intro and all that stuff, and I'm still like trying to figure out all this crap, and really at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. Does it? Like it doesn't even matter. I swear. Um really at the end of the day, as long as you get started on time, that is probably the best thing. And so this week we were able to get started on time because I didn't run into any technical difficulties. um, obviously, here we are, the big show, as I like to call it, number 4. I stole that from Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann. I will continue to steal from people, or I guess borrow would be
Well,
the
yeah.
proper. Yeah, borrow would be the proper word. Um, of course, I'm Pop Blender. This is Matthew Matson joining me, and right now, if you happen to look, whether you're watching a replay or you're watching us, typically we have some folks in the chat that are already here and already going. But I can definitely say there's some pretty big news that popped off today. You sent me a link to the video. While I pull this up and pull up the YouTube Pulse stream, why don't you fill us in on the big news that happened just a little bit ago? Okay.
Yeah, just a couple of hours ago, Hasbro decided to drop the unboxing video for the Dragonfly. So they've got Lenny and the new guy pulling everything out and putting it together, showing everybody what it all looks like in packaging. It's got similar to his tank packaging with the boxes and where the figures are, and we'll talk more about it as we see the images and stuff. But it
Yeah,
looks pretty darn good.
I'm gonna bring it up here on screen. I've got the YouTube stream. We'll just kind of scrub through it, and just kind of go through it, and as people maybe come in and join us. Obviously, this is big news. I know that my cousin 3-star draw was really salty, and I mean really salty during the figure reveals and all that because. And I think even during a Punk with Toys stream where where's the Dragonfly news?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the GI Joe Dragonfly news? For those that don't know that might be listening, this is it's kind of what you'd call a HasLab. That's what their official name for it is. Hasbro will put things out there, try to get them funded. And to get them funded, obviously, it requires backers, and there are certain price points that you need to back it. Now, as the number of backers they get as it goes up, then the item goes into production. These are a premium item, so to speak, or maybe it has multiple things included. And so, as those things get backers, like anything really, a comic book or a show, a movie, something like that, as it gets backers, they reach certain goals. And as they hit certain goals, they add other goals to that. And as those hit, then eventually, if it gets fully funded, you get all of the niceties, all the good stuff that comes along with it. This is one that Hasbro did for the GI Joe classified line. This is a 6-inch scale. Most of our viewers will be obviously very familiar with that. However, for those that maybe watch this and are not familiar, then this is coming up on the screen here. This is the official HasLab Pulse video on YouTube that they did earlier today. To give you an idea, and I'll try to back this up a little bit, I'm going to try to scrub through it like I usually like to do. You will get an idea of just how big this box is. Now, this is the front of the box. If I'm correct, they want to show off the artwork, which looks freaking awesome.
Yep.
Really does. To give you an idea, maybe of how big this is, we're gonna let's see. Let me go forward. Sorry, guys. A little sideways artwork on the side, and as you unfurl the box, and they'll show it momentarily. Look how big this box is. This
Well,
is
and I can't think of his name. Who's the new guy? Do
man.
you know his
You
name?
know what? Something Mac. I think B Mac.
Okay. Okay.
I did not catch it while I was
Well,
watching.
he said what I was thinking too. I was like, how does it fit in the box? This box is so small compared to what it is. And well, we know why when they unbox it, but we kind of figured that was why too. But the box is so much smaller than the actual vehicle's going to be.
Right. Yeah. There's no way they could have made a box that was like 38 inches, 45 inches long to adjust for bumpers and stuff like that. I wanted to show Todd C's in the house. He hopped over and made it first, and I appreciate you being first, Todd. Good to see you, man. We're just kind of going over this news. Obviously, everybody's going to go over it thoroughly. I figured we'd at least touch on it for those that want to come over and listen to us chat back and forth. So yeah, man, this box is a big daddy. Now, as they unfurl this box here, let's see.
Oh, I love how that panel comes out and you get that whole front display kind of thing with the choppers coming in.
Yes, no, I'm with you, man. Like as he folds the side out, you get like several of them coming in, like, and they even said like an army of dragonflies coming at you. Really, really cool artwork, which, we're missing on the new boxes for the figures, for the most part. But I love they're going the extra mile with the HasLabs. They obviously want to put this as much premium as they can put into it, right? And let's not kid ourselves. The amount of money, they are making money off this product. I mean, they are bringing in really good money. Yeah, Todd C says my favorite part of Yojo June so far. I'd say that you are not alone. That's probably a lot of people.
It's been so highly anticipated. People have been waiting on this. People were expecting to get it around this time.
Right.
And so that's kind of the big disappointment and what everybody's pushing back on it. It's like, hey, where is it? We should have it soon, right?
And there is some news on that as well. They divulged that at the end of the video. We can divulge it here. Bottom line, they say you're going to get it before the end of the year, but to ensure quality, to ensure that every T is crossed and I is dotted, that it's going to show up later in the year and not probably summer like a lot of people were anticipating or hoping.
Well, and then remember when the Hiss unboxing video came out, and it was 2 or 3 months later that we got the Hiss?
Right. I mean, that's one of those things too. I've known in a different sphere, but I've known video game companies that have had games in production for 5 years, 6 years, 3 years. And then you'll see a little trailer of it at the what used to be E3, or you'll see kind of a little trailer, cinematic trailer, not in gameplay. And then you'll catch one thing, and then 3 months later, the game will come out. I know Bethesda was notorious for that. They wait a long time to reveal information about their games. And so in a way, I kind of thought this was kind of similar, just in that they want to give an update. They know people in every stream they've probably been watching. Everybody's going, where's the dragonfly? Where's the dragonfly? Where's the dragonfly? And they probably really wanted to get something out there. And I think maybe that's what somewhat spurred this video, because we had no idea this was coming, right?
Yeah, I mean, nobody had mentioned it. We speculated that there would be something this month. I mean, they had to say something this month.
This was definitely out of the blue, and I know it was for me. And when you sent me the link, I was like, oh, okay, all right, now we have something. I know that 3-star. Speaking of 3-star draw, there he is. Are you guys talking about the greatest greatest show on TV yet? Not yet. 3-star. I know you spent all that money on that Disney Plus subscription. I know you went all in, all chips in.
And you pre-ordered all those Black Series action figures.
Pre-ordered all the Black Series. I know you were all in. I know you can't wait to get your May and your Asha figures and your Indara, who unfortunately does not last very long. And we'll get to that. We're going to get to that for sure, because I wanted to go through that with Matthew. I did a little bit of that on my Friday stream solo this past Friday. We'll get through some Acolyte, but obviously, because I talked to you, we are talking about the Dragonfly. 3-star knob, and we have a stream tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And of course, this is going to be gone over again. But let's go ahead. Let's kind of flip through this. Let's scrub through this stream a little bit. I'm liking the artwork. Obviously, they point out Wild Bill's right there. Well, it's not showing the mouse, but Wild Bill's little logo there on the front as well.
Yeah.
I'm digging that. Let's see here. Come on. There we go. There it is. Folded out. Lovely. Right?
Yep. That's
Lovely.
awesome.
That is really, really freaking cool. That's a great shot. I love it. Let's see. And then the two kind of drawers, so to speak, that they've got it packed in with. And you can see,
Tree.
I mean, oh, that's right. It's yeah. Overall, that's right, because you have obviously down here. It is funny though. You see him reaching over. Look at this. Like he's like, let me try to open this thing up from behind.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah, right. No,
yeah.
don't tear it up.
Right. And so here's Lenny pulling everything out, and then bing bang boom. And then let's get to the good stuff there. That's awesome. Yeehaw champion. That's great. And then obviously your sticker sheets. That's one of those things for me. I only get one. I know people get multiple. I only get one of each figure, and really each vehicle. And so for me, when you get something like this with the sticker sheets, it's like, okay, what direction do you go? Do you go
Yeah.
zombie? Do you go zombie Wild Bill? Do you go zombie Dragonfly? Do you go classic? Do you put the shark teeth on there? Do you not? Plenty of options when it comes to the sticker sheets. I love this. I
Well,
just think I think it's so cool.
That one whole sticker sheet is meant for you to spray paint your Dragonfly yellow and then put the new stickers on.
Yeah, right.
And put your Wakando figure in there.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. Of course, those lovely HasLab directions that and not even just the HasLab directions, but with the vamp. I honestly, Matthew, I was not crazy about those directions. I'm not gonna lie to you. It 3-Star and I did a stream opening the vamp together.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna say I'm stupid, but I'm not the brightest guy on the block. But at the same time, they were confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, they really were. I mean, the color coded and all, that's great. Maybe they changed that a little bit. I don't know. Made it a little easier. As 3-Star Draw says, ambiguous, unclear directions. That shit is trash. I was not really thrilled with the instructions, but let's see here. Let's just kind of go forward to show a little bit more of the sticker sheets there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of neat, I guess, but it's also kind of a waste of space. I mean, not really space because they're stickers, but I mean,
if you bought two, would you make one of them the zombie Dragonfly?
I don't know.
I don't think I would either. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
say
don't
you
know.
don't know. I can tell by the way you say I don't know, is that's a no. I mean, I don't, the teeth and the eyeball. I don't know. I don't like that. It's fine if that's yours. You got 3 of them or whatever. I don't know. The limit was 5, probably. I have no idea. But I just don't see that. I just don't see the usage in that personally.
Hey, you know what? Lenny's the boss, and he gets to put in whatever he wants, and he
that's
loves
true.
that stuff. So he's getting his wish fulfillment there going on.
Yeah, and as Todd C says, I would. I'm guessing Night Force is going up against the zombies, and Todd, if that look,
okay.
I mean, you do, man. That's what I'm saying. You do yours the way you want it, and I am okay with that, right? Like, I guess for me, again. And I'm speaking only solely for myself as a single vehicle, single figure collector for each figure, is that I guess I obviously am going to go more with the classic Dragonfly. That's what gets me going. But even if you only got one, and that's how you want to do it, by all means, fire it up, right? Like fire it up. I'm good with that. To each his or her own, really. And that's why they give you the options, right? I obviously, some more stickers. I kind of want to get into the meat of it here as they start kind of.
Hey, look, Fast effects that might
Yeah,
work with other things that we might need them for because these look like they were done correctly.
I had a feeling you were going to bring that up. I had a feeling you were going to bring that up.
I don't understand. I understand reuse. I understand reuse. And you
Yeah.
can use those things again. You just have to mold them differently or paint them differently
Yes,
to
sir.
make them work with the product that you're selling.
Right.
And they haven't done that. So they were perfect for scrap iron. They haven't worked on anything else yet.
Right. And obviously that's something that they're hopefully aiming to fix
Yeah.
as here. I knew it when I saw this video and I saw that. I was
Well,
like,
there's one in particular. I think there's only one of that blast effect, but it's not the giant one. It's the little ones for the rockets. I think those are the ones that I'm
I
looking
tell you
at.
what, when we see them putting them in,
Yep.
maybe we can highlight that. Obviously, here's Lenny. Look how dude.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That thing is massive.
Yep.
That is freaking awesome, man.
I can't wait to put Doc Stretcher on there.
Come on. Like that. Yeah, man. Look in his just holding his hand. And yeah, he's a big guy. He's
Yep.
a big fella, right? Obviously they put the bar or the thing in between for the landing gear or the landing skids on the helicopter. That was, he said, because over time if people wanted to keep that on there because they don't think that you're going to have wear on that as far as just sitting, but in case that is something you were concerned about, they just put that on there.
That is my one major concern about this vehicle.
That's interesting.
Is because if you actually look at him handling it and watch him set it down on the table, there's a lot of give in those skids. And I know for a fact that I have some skids of my originals and even my Skyhawk that have snapped before because they just give at a certain point in time. And so that is a concern for me for sure.
Okay. Well, I did not notice that when they set it down, but I'll have to go back and look at it. If that's something you actually did notice, when he set it down on the table and you physically could see that. And I know that's something you're going to be paying attention to because, and those are those things too. Like people need to understand. For myself, as much as I love this line, I love collecting the toys of this line. That's something that I'm not going to notice. That's going to be one of those things that, like, on the back end where I'm like, oh, this is odd, or this is, but those are the things to look out for. Hey man, you're gonna look over every inch of this thing. You're gonna check all this video and catch things like that.
It looks amazing. I love the design. I love the tampos that they put on there. And quite honestly, from everything that I've seen so far, without having it actually in hand, that is really the only concern I have besides, floppy blast effects. But, that's going to be a thing.
Right.
Those things weigh something, and it's hard to have them do that. But
yeah, that's true. But this is a large toy, and 3-star draw. He wants good skids for $275, and I can't argue with that. I can't blame him for that at all.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead. My bad.
You want the best product that there is, and this
absolutely
something that's 3D printed out of somebody's garage or nothing. This is Hasbro producing. So
right. This was interesting when Lenny was trying to describe this piece on the tail end, and he was like, "This doesn't this kind of help with the turning of the
Yes, Lenny, it's called counter rotation. It stops the thing from spinning around like this while the blade on top's going like, yes, it's called counter rotation. Yes, Lenny.
I loved it though, because for real though, this is a toy guy, man, and he is like, I'm all about these toys, but when it comes to aviation, and it comes to navigate, whatever, it's like, he was searching for the words. And again, the way this video kind of went, you could tell not only were they on a time crunch, I think they had a timer. I think they had a countdown timer. Do you agree with me?
I don't know if they had a countdown timer because they even said they were going to edit it,
I
and
I
and
saw that,
and
but
so
they
I think
didn't.
they probably well I think they probably did.
You think
Um,
so?
I do because there's some things that happen magically. I
Oh,
mean, if
yeah.
you're paying attention in terms of getting the stuff out, so they trimmed some stuff in there for sure. That wasn't
Okay.
one long thing.
I'm with you. And also, I guess at the very end when they posed a couple, or they were already set out, right,
Yeah.
in like a Yojo pose, right, Glenda or whatever. But I got to tell you, while I was watching it, and when he mentioned about the magic of editing, it damn sure didn't look like a cut.
No,
And
they did it really well. They did the cuts at the right
had
spot.
to have done it well because, but then even as they, it felt rushed. I guess that's my thing. The
Okay.
reason why I said maybe they were on a countdown is because they felt like they got to a certain point, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we got to get these things out. We got to get these things, we got to shoot
Yeah.
these figures, you know.
It seems to me like they said, okay, you've got the studio for 2 hours. Get this done.
Yeah, that could be very well it. They may have had some other stuff. They may have had some Star Wars videos to do. They may have had
Yeah.
some Transformers videos to do. Very true. Obviously, showing off the base here. And let's see here. Come on, baby. YouTube's
That stand is way different than I was picturing it to be, and I actually
right
kind of
here.
like it. I think it looks like a. I mean, yeah, when they have it all set up, it looks like a great little trophy stand. So it's pretty cool.
I want to say hey to Eric Thurman too, man. Dual streaming this is tricky. Yeah. You're probably watching, I'm guessing, Aaron or Action, whomever. And I don't blame you one bit, especially on a day like today when we finally got some Dragonfly news. That's crucial. Let's bring this back up full screen here. And as we scrub through again, there is kind of your column, and then your light's going to shine down through there, right? If I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I know it's funny. I spent $275 on it. I'm like, yeah, right, Matthew? Right? Is that right? Is that what that's supposed to be? Right? Yeah, shows you how much I give. I swear. As we mentioned and noticed Lenny's wonderful yellow banded watch here, smartwatch. You know, I'm. Is that? Hang on, I can't even tell what part that is. What the hell part is
that was the wing, right?
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's I'm thinking it was part of the where it mounts. Obviously, that's a good one there. You want to mention that one?
Yeah. The batteries thing is a little tricky, and that costs more. That would have been the extra $25 to put those batteries in. No. Batteries tend to explode and have problems with import things, and I don't know. I really can't fathom why they didn't have them sealed in another package inside there that you could open up and put them in whatever. It seems kind of silly for them to not include the batteries.
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, the answer to that is shipping internationally.
Yeah.
You can't. It's a hazard. It
Yeah,
is a
that's what I
shipping
thought.
hazard. Yeah, it is.
And that was my suspicion, because if it explodes or whatever in between, then and they tend to do that if they're lithium ions, you never know. So
yeah, no, that's exactly why. It just is. So as we see Lenny manhandle the canopy, the main portion here, sans the tail. There you go. There's a damn good look at the side of it, and I love it, man. And that's just without a wing.
Okay, I get you, Darren.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah,
I didn't.
he should have had him on hand. He knew what he was
100%.
doing.
Yep.
So this also goes to they were rushed, right? They had
That's what I
time.
think. That's what I think. I think they were rushed.
Yeah, they said do it now, get it done, get it out there. Otherwise, there's no reason why he should not have had batteries. They're right there in the studio. They got to have batteries on hand.
Yeah.
I mean, pull somebody's mic, get their mic batteries. I mean, whatever.
No, I'm with you, and that's the reason why I said what I said earlier. Is it wasn't necessarily had a clock going per
Yeah,
se, but it just felt like, oh crap, people are really going hard on this after the reveals. Joe Fest is coming up. Not that they're going to be a part of that,
yeah,
but yeah, and it just felt like, hey, we got to get a video out. We got to get something. We got to give these people something.
yeah,
And knowing that it's going to be later this year, it's probably smart to go ahead and get that information
yeah.
out. All right. So nice overhead view. And this is going to be fun to put together for people. If you had fun putting the vamp together,
Yeah.
um, but really though, when the hiss, whatever, this is probably going to be a freaking blast to spend
Yeah,
time with.
and what's nice about what Lenny mentioned too is it's set up in such a way that you're not going to be able to put it on backwards or the wrong way.
Right.
So the dog bones are situated to be angled in a way
Okay.
that the wings are only going to fit on the correct way.
That's great.
And I love the detail, the paint apps that they're putting on the gearboxes on the inside because
Yes.
they did some great shading in there. The paint apps are really nice.
Yeah. I mean, just that. I mean, that looks really, really good. And you have different shades. The I mean, look, $275. They're it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice.
I got beef with the chips and salsa thing.
Well, I want to hear about it.
It should have been salt and pepper. I mean, there's so many other things that they could have used. Chips and salsa doesn't make sense. Salt and pepper does make sense.
Yes.
Because those are objective military things. Salt and pepper, and you can pepper somebody and you throw salt in the wound. There's all kinds of things that go along with that. And chips and salsa is like, okay, we going to buffet. I mean,
Speaking of which, for any of you out there, I love chips and salsa. Don't get me wrong.
well, yeah, Darren, I get it. Chips and salsa, Wild Bill, blah blah blah. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
We're talking about toys here, people.
Oh, here we
Toys.
go. That's right. We're talking about toys. Talking about toys. I've got to figure out how to get an AI Allen Iverson to say that. Would that not be phenomenal? Oh my God, that would be phenomenal.
We need a Gilbert Godfrey.
No, God, man, I love some Gilbert Gottfried. I do, and I say his most recent thing. The most recent thing I saw of Gilbert Gottfried was an angry video game nerd thing he did with him about 2-3 years ago, before he passed, which was not too long ago.
Yeah,
and you could tell Gilbert was a little past his prime, just a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, how long can you keep up that?
Yeah.
High energy screaming type of voice, right?
Right? Yeah, no doubt. All right, so here we go.
That's what she said.
I heard that, Eric Thurman. Finally, they get the tail on there, looking good. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
I'm curious about the tail fins, the tail wings that they put on there. Those are brightly colored cautionary.
Yes, they are
type of things. I'm like, okay, all right.
So here's kind of your engine, or your
gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. I like that detail with the purple and the gold, the silver. Obviously looks, let's say, used, so to speak. It's really, really great. And then we will actually look at those when they put those on, because I saw those too, and I thought that was quite interesting, with the tail fins. Looking good overhead shot, man. I mean, it's a lot of pieces to put together, but man, I mean, again,
I love that it's coming up here in a second. I love the missile pods. I mean, those missile pods, they look straight off of an Apache type of thing, or something like that. They look awesome.
And obviously, as I kind of scrub through here, we'll find us a good shot of that. When you scrub 10 seconds at a time, sometimes you
Yeah.
miss a good.
I didn't quite see how the belt feeder connects to the gun. I say how it connects to the helicopter, but
Yeah.
how it connects to the actual gun.
Yep.
That'll be interesting too. I think that was one of their edits.
Yes, yeah, and you're probably right. And that's, just and even just watching through this, when I mentioned that earlier, it's just I just felt like I honestly felt like they did it in one take with like three cameras, five cameras. But
Yeah,
looking
I think
back
so.
now, it makes sense that they did do a little chopping, but I think they did it quickly. I think they did
Yeah.
it quickly and they shoved this out. I do love the end of the gun in the barrel here with the again with some fire, or having been fired and losing that color, so to speak. I don't know what that's called. I'm sure somebody could say, hey man, like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I know it when I see it. I don't know what the name of it is. And I just want to say hello to
What's up, buddy?
Woody Triple Deuce. What's going on, buddy? By the way, just to let a few people know, Matthew, you will be out of town next Tuesday.
Yep.
And so what I have decided to do, in since you will not be here to hold the fort down with me, I have decided to ask a few of our loyal viewers to fill in, and I'm going to have a few people on at one time, and we're going to talk pop culture with a bunch of toy tubers. Do you think that sounds like a good time?
Yeah. Sounds like a
I
blast.
actually think it does too. Um, I told everybody I could send a briefing out, whatever. It may help some, maybe not. Who cares? But I thought it'd be fun to ask, some folks to come in here and we could all chat together while you have business to tend to and stuff to do. And we just do that before Joe Fest and kind of just cut up for a little while. So that'll be next Tuesday night that we'll have a few people in, and I'll lock in everybody it is. I'll put that out, make sure everybody knows who exactly is going to be on.
And then the
I
Tuesday after that, we got to do a rundown of Joe Fest and DFW con.
Yes, well, and even DFW. I didn't know if you wanted to do that today, since you just got back. I would
No,
have
no,
no.
no. The DFW
Oh,
Junior
yeah, yeah,
Toy
yeah, yeah,
Show.
yeah, 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 yeah. My bad, because the
Yeah, yeah,
fan expo
yeah,
was this past, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
yes, the Fan Expo, and then Friday Night Tights meetup. For those of you that don't know, I'll explain that to you momentarily. Anyway, love the gun. Love it. Obviously, you get the rotation, the vertical up and down rotation. Um, let's see here as we scroll through a little bit. Ah, yeah,
And the
there we go,
wedge.
baby. Yes.
Now I was very interested to see how they did the wedge thing because remember the original it was inside at the bottom and they decided to make this an attachment on the outside, which is probably more indicative of how they actually would put it on a Cobra or something like that.
Yeah. Um, I can't wait to see some of the photos that people make. Who's hanging off of that thing?
Well, I
Uh,
mean, it's got to be airborne, right?
right. Yes.
I mean, he's the
But
helicopter assault trooper, right?
but we can see, Doc hanging down with a stretcher in tow. We could see. I mean, there's a lot
No,
of
no.
possibilities out there.
Doc's got to be holding onto his helmet, hanging onto the side of the helicopter with the stretcher underneath the skids with somebody on the stretcher.
Yeah. Well, there. I just know there's going to be some really creative photographs, and I know some of the
Yeah.
people that are here today do
Well,
those.
my biggest concern is how big it is and how we're going to be able to photograph it, making it look quite the way we want it to.
Yeah, that's true.
Glenda upside down. Oh, that's me. Come on, Eric. Come on, Eric.
Oh my god. Yeah, I couldn't help it.
Theresa, I'm kind of with you, but I think having it on the outside makes it a little more closer to reality, I guess. I don't know. But if they had it in the middle, it makes more sense for gravity purposes. And if you're actually lifting something,
Yeah.
how it wouldn't distort the craft. So, I don't know. It's interesting.
Let's see as we go along here. There's obviously your
Now this is the part that I don't necessarily like is that
Okay.
you can't load all the armaments on at one time, right? So you got to take the winch off, or you got to take the cannon off the side to put
Right.
chips and salsa on.
Right. Yeah, not a fan of that. Um, yeah, I don't like that either or. Um, man, I don't know. I don't know how those decisions come down. Eric Thurman, yes, those are like was it missile cannons? I mean, like they're I don't remember the size, again, rocket
Yeah,
pods. Yeah,
rocket
rocket
pods is
pods.
what I
These
would call
are.
them
That's
because
it.
they're,
Rocket pods.
yeah.
Good call. Yes, that's what those were. And then you can see here Lenny getting his curls in actually, but with the rocket pods. All right, so you start seeing all the armaments put on, start seeing it taking shape. And then this is what you're talking about here. If I can get a good shot of them, I kind of want a better shot than that overhead. But you're talking about these yellow
Yeah.
tail wings, right?
Yeah.
They do stand out.
I mean, it's a cautionary thing, right? I just, I go back to the original didn't have it that way, but I mean, whatever. Just wondering
Yeah, but they
why
don't.
they make
It's
them
not.
yellow.
Yeah, and we've seen. There you go. We've seen. I mean, they're gonna change some stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, it happens, right? It's I don't know. I'd prefer them green. I'm not gonna lie, or black even,
Yeah. Black. Yeah.
right? Preferably. So yeah,
Yeah.
the yellow maybe is not my first choice. I'm not sure how they came to that conclusion exactly. Considering when you look at the rest of the chopper, I don't see any yellow trim.
I mean, there's no caution tape. There's no steps.
Right.
Nothing like that. That's bright yellow like that.
And Woody says, I don't mind the yellow. They do have to classify it up a bit. And that's kind of what I was saying is that,
Yeah.
they're gonna change some stuff. They're gonna do a few things to it. So I get it, but it does stand out, and it is kind of odd because it is the only thing, right? Like
Yeah.
that has that. So it is kind of interesting. And then let's see. There we go. They lock in the other tail fins there. Dragonfly with the stinger, so to speak. I guess I'm not. I don't know the official name of that or what that's particularly called. That logo, so to speak.
Oh, that's a dragonfly.
I mean, it is, but I guess that I was just thinking. I don't remember that right
No,
there.
no, that was never a logo before. That's a
Yeah,
classified thing. So
yeah. So
that's cool though. I like it.
And then really, they've yet to actually put the full rotors on, and so here you go. I do like this. Did he say that was textured? Was that raised texturing?
Yeah, he
Was-
did mention something about the paint that they used on there. Yeah.
right.
When they were putting this on there, put it together, I had a little bit of anxiety.
Oh yeah.
Well, for a couple of reasons. Because my original Dragonfly that I had was broken by my dad because he spun the blades backwards.
Oh man.
And they snapped off.
Right.
And I was so upset. And then behind my back, my mom threw it away. I said, "No, I want to keep the pieces. I can still use it or whatever." My mom threw it away.
That hurt.
And then my dad had to go get me the Tigerfly later.
Wow. Yeah, man. That's tough. And bringing back memories like that, I'm sure might give you some anxiety. So here we are. As you can see again, I mean this thing, and let's see if I can maybe do a little. Where's my zoom here? I don't even know if I can zoom on a full screen. I was gonna say maybe not. Anyway, but obviously you guys have all watched the video, so there's no need for me to sit here and super prolong it. They're gonna put the blast effects on here.
And these giant blast effects, they're pretty cool. I just worry about that weight. Look at that weight on the back of that thing.
Oh my god!
I
know.
mean, it looks awesome, but honestly, if I was going to use it, I would use it in the secondary position.
Right.
Because I was really glad that they did that. That
Yeah.
the rocket is firing and it looks awesome. That's going to photograph really well, I think.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you're right, and just think about it. Sticking them in the back there and having them and just all that plastic weight. Yeah, I could see. I guess can you? It's not going to be all the time. I mean, who's going to have that in all the time? I saw that comment by 3 Star. Why is it the white on the blades matching the stupid fins? That's really bothering me.
Yep.
I
Yep.
get it. I do. I really do. I definitely think the same. Really. It's too late to turn back time now. I'll tell you that. It's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love with the dragonfly. All right. So anyway, so you guys got it. I mean, you guys got it. Look, I mean, geez Louise, Lenny's got a big old hand. Look at that thing,
Yeah.
man. That's a monster. It's a monster.
The little blast effect there. It looks like it could be for the gun up front too.
Yeah, I know, right?
The other way.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting.
That's
but
true.
it is. But you could. Honestly, you could use that one either way. And that's a versatile blast effect right there.
That's true.
Because you can use it either way.
Yeah, I do like that. Obviously, see, they also on the side of the blast effect, you're going to have another place where you can mount it on the side there, so you can show that the missile is taking off. I mean, I do love that. It's I mean, it's like you said, what 37, 38 inches, something like that.
I don't know. He's 36, 37.
Somewhere in there at the beginning, he mentioned it. It's a monster, man. Now let's and again, I mean, yeah, I love this on the guns on front. Foot peg, hell yes. And as it's mounted on its stand on its base, it looks great. I'm loving it. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Probably do a big old unboxing video. I don't know if I'll do one with 3 Star. I kind of feel like we do those, but they're really long, and I kind of for his channel and engagement, I'd like to see him be able to kind of take one and make it more suited for his viewers. Our review would be very long. Anyway, we get our 4 figures here.
Hate the box.
Hate the box again. But at least on the back of the box. The back of the box.
I was gonna say the side of the boxes, because the side of the boxes make the graphic on the box of the dragonfly. If you line up the boxes.
Okay. Yes. That's right. And then here we have the back.
Yeah.
At least we have that.
Yeah.
I'm pleased. Wild Bill figure looks good. I'm nothing. We know what we're getting. We've pretty much seen the renders and
what the first thing I'm going to do with my Wild Bill?
What's that?
I'm going to take that gun belt
and
turn it backwards.
Yes, I knew it. I knew you were going to say that.
for 2 reasons. One, the back of the gun belt has the horns, has the bull horns. So you turn that around front. So he's got the bull horns up front,
right?
And then he's got his cross draw. Like he had on the original figure. So that's the first thing I'm doing with mine.
Oh man. Yep. God, that's so. I just knew it though. I knew it. And I get it. I do. I really do.
I don't know why they didn't do that, because setting up a cross draw on him, I think would be awesome.
Cross draw for sure.
And for multiple reasons. Do you know why he would have a cross draw?
Technically, no. I would
Close
assume
quarters.
that's typical, just period.
So a cross draw is easier when you're in the chopper or in an aircraft.
Oh, you know what? I got you.
Rather than trying to do this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
because you got to put your elbow out to draw from your hip. You can cross draw your close armed in, and you can whip them out, which is what I do all the time. I whip it out, and then you can, and So okay, makes sense. See, I learn something new every day when I talk to you. Hello, I love it. Totally makes sense. In close quarters, now. Again, there's so much coverage on these. I'm not gonna nitpick every little bit. I know
No,
you.
yeah. Let's kind of fly through these. I think
Yeah,
honestly, I think the figures look great. I love the
I do too.
tampos. I love the with Wild Bill because he's got the hat hair and the hat without, so he can hold it with
Yes,
regular hair. I thought
yes.
that was a great touch that they did with it.
Yep.
Makes that hat fit better, I'm
There's the
sure.
boxes together.
Yeah, I love that. I think
I
that's
like
so
that.
cool.
Yep, really super
Yeah.
cool. We'll kind of go through here. Here's our boy
Uh,
Ripcord.
I love what they did with Ripcord with the visor on the
Yep.
helmet, the parachute pack. I thought Ripcord was really well done. Can't wait to throw him on Cobra Island hunting for Candy Apple with Zartan and
Yeah.
Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow hunting him down.
And the backpack, a functional backpack.
Yeah,
It opens up.
and I
It's
love the fact
functional.
I love the fact that he put the pegs on there so you have some string around it. So that
Yes.
you could have the strings or a parachute should
Yes.
you want one.
That's right.
Or maybe
Yes.
there is one coming in the future.
Yes. No, that very possible. Obviously, then you see the mask, the hose goes down to the side there and hooks into the little box he's got there. And yeah, it looks
Yeah, I
great.
love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I am a fan of the classic Ripcord personally. I am.
Yeah.
But I do like this. I like what they've done.
One comment that I heard somebody say
Okay.
about Crazy Legs. Is he after Glenda?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
let's do Glenda first. So we'll get
yeah,
to Crazy Legs in a second.
yeah. All right.
I thought they did a great job with her.
I do
I
too.
think she looks great, and you can see that is a Scarlet face sculpt on there.
Oh yeah,
But everything else, all the parts, she looks good. She looks good with her pilot helmet. She's got flashes, laser gun. So he's coming sooner or later.
and she's got her Fantastic Four uniform on.
Yeah,
and,
yes.
and if you want her to shave her head, you can have
There
her
she
shave
is.
her head. There you
That's
go.
it, right there.
Long hair, short hair, comms.
I love the comms one.
I do
think that's
too.
awesome too.
Got the whole belt, the whole 9 yards, right? The whole flight
Yep.
belt and everything, going down, strapping on around the under the hips and above, and then down the crotch and up the top, and it's great. There's a lot there. There's gonna be some great photos that people are gonna do,
Now,
and also you
I
see the
don't
three,
know.
you see the stars there
Yeah,
on the side.
that
That's
doesn't
the star.
that doesn't
I don't
fit.
like that. I don't like that.
And me neither.
I don't like it. It shouldn't.
But they had to use the reuse. They knew what they were going to do with the reuse and everything. So okay, whatever. Now you can put Scarlett's head on there and say it's her. Or Scarlett's hair, I should say.
Now Woody brings up an interesting comment. He says that I was going to say her gun pretty much ensures that we're getting a Flash soon.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool, and I'd be down with that myself. Absolutely. Let's reuse that gun on an OG. Let's see here as we go through. Oh, the back of her helmet, and I can't quite.
Well, I couldn't tell quite what that said, but
heroic commando. Somebody can put in the chat. Let me know. I can't see it from here, man. I'm right up on my monitors, but I'm 48 years old. My eyes suck. So it says command something heroics or command something. So if you can let me know, let me know. If not, it's okay. We're gonna know soon. Okay, it says the name of the line that she's originally from. That's what Woody triple.
Oh, the Argentina. Okay.
Commando. Okay, and that's the the Argentina, right?
I think so. Yeah,
okay,
like
that's what it is. Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, you know what? Looks hot. I'd say, hey, gal, you want to take me on a nighttime flight anytime? I'll go with you. As long as you let me wear
she
that
just closed down her
girl.
visor and just keep on walking.
Yeah, no, you let me wear the helmet, and I'll let you take me to the stars. All right, let's see. Then we'll there we go. Let's get to this crazy bitch. No pun intended.
I love Night Force Crazy Legs.
Okay.
Night Force Crazy Legs was one of my guys. I loved him. He's still hanging off my hawk right now with his gun with the stock folded in his parachute pack.
Yeah.
The problem is he doesn't have a parachute pack. He's got
Yeah.
straps, but he
Yeah.
has no pack.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a miss. I mean, you just put a little chunk of plastic back there, right? It's not too hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those like little things that you find it here and there. We talked about, I think last week, wasn't it? I'm trying to remember what we brought up with the figure reveals. Obviously Alpine and his backpack, but some other things that just those little things you think, is there one person that maybe
Yeah.
brings it
And
up?
I just now realized, and I should have thought about this sooner, but that jump hat that he's wearing,
Okay,
is Alpine's.
You know what? Holy shit! Yeah. Yes, it is. And 3 Stars Draw says that his face looks like movie Snake Eyes.
Oh no, they can't reuse that.
I know, totally different. They're right. It's a rights thing. That's a whole different ballgame, but it is funny nonetheless.
Yeah, you just put that hat in the Alpine colors, and it looks like it's the same hat.
Yeah,
and it would make sense because they wouldn't spend more money on tooling if they already had the tool, if they already had the piece.
Right. Obviously the textured uniform here. I like good design there, good work, design work. Big
I'm also a little iffy on the helmeted head sculpt. It looks kind of weird to me, like a 1940s pilot or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I was trying to find, and I can't even remember if they actually put him in that helmet or if they left his hat on. Okay.
Yeah, no, they
okay, yeah,
it.
here we go.
There we go.
All right, come on, get those thick fingers out the way, Lenny. There you go. You're right. It looks like a guy who should be going, man, that's really swell there, sir. I want to get into the bottom of that B-52.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. That you got the old school goggles and the helmet. It looks like a B-52 headgear, but
yeah. Put me in that gun bubble there, sir. I want to be the first to die. All right, so I like it.
Yeah, it's great.
He's still sweet though,
95% of it looks awesome. I love it. I can't wait.
Right,
it's gonna be cool.
So yes, so that is it. That is the
Dragonfly. So Todd, see, I agree. Lenny did actually point that out at least twice. And he's like, look at the effects. They're so stiff, whatever. They got better plastic with them. So he finally got that part of it sorted with the factories. So I know moving forward, I know all the ones next year will have them. I think the ones in the latter half of this year will have the better weapons. So that's good.
Yeah. But I'm excited. It is going to be a little later than we thought. Obviously, all the news that you can use on the Dragonfly will be available at every one of the toy tubers that you follow. And then some. Also including some of yourselves who will probably make a video about that, I assume. In which I'll be checking some of those out as well. And we'll probably have all the Dragonfly talk we can get until next Tuesday, because this Tuesday we had Retro Carded Stalker today at noon or Central Time, my time anyway, when Eastern. We had Retro Stalker, Retro Cobra Trooper, we had Retro Cobra Commander. Go out today if you got yours and you pre-ordered them. Throw a Y in the chat if you can. If you pre-ordered those guys today. We could go through them, but we just went through them not long ago, and everybody's seen everything there is to know about them. And so I did pick up all 3. I know, Matthew, you're not crazy about Stalker. That's fine. I understand.
I mean, I love the one that they already gave us.
Right.
I'm perfectly happy with him.
Yeah, and that's fine. That is a-okay. I think a lot of people really like that one. I guess, being that big kid inside, I really wanted to have that camo, old school camo, even with the camo beret. And then see, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, just stabs you right there. The CC I had to have, obviously, and then the Cobra Trooper. Did I need him? No. Do I like him? Yes.
That blue pops, man. It really pops. Yeah. I don't know. that I like it that it pops, or I don't like it. I
Okay.
haven't made up my mind yet on it.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's and that's what's great about it. At this point, they've made enough figures. They have really put the stuff out, and yeah, there you go. And they've allowed people, they say, hey, we're going to put it out. If you're a completionist, okay, we know you're going to get it, but this is an option for you if you like the carded, right? If you like the carded with the bubble and everything, then have at it, right? I like the option anyway.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I like the options.
Yep. So there's something every day coming out. So there's always going to be something.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, man. And then from what I understand, Three Star had mentioned this to me that the ferret was going to maybe ship out while we're at Joe Fest or while whoever's out. Right.
It did look like that was happening because they moved up the date on that. So.
Well, and looks like he says Three Star also says, no, I'm with you, Matthew. I ordered him, but I'm going to have to see it in person. It looks good, but now it doesn't match the rest of the blue shirts. And that makes sense.
Well, and that's okay. It can be a different squad, right? They're a different region, or they're working for a different, sub leader or whatever. There's all kinds of stories you can make up because my infantries and my Cobra Islands, they usually don't mix very much. They one's with Major Blood and one's with Baroness or whatever,
Right. Well, again, I ordered all three. I'm a sucker for those things, but I have bypassed on a few figures through the last year plus. There have been ones Shadow Tracker was a guy that I didn't go all in on. I didn't get the what's that sumbitch? The camouflage purple camo. I can't remember his name because I'd aged out of the line by the time he came out. Just recently, just in this last line, they just showed the figures off. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I just did a shoot with him sneaking up behind Recondo and a couple other guys.
And see, I did a review. So back at the end of the year last year, I did a top 10, and he was actually in my top 10, and he was pretty high up on my top 10 because I literally saw him on the shelf while we're doing the review before we did it. And I looked over and I was like, man, let me see that guy. Yes, 3-star draw Night Creeper. I did not get Night Creeper. I care nothing for Night Creeper. Night Creeper does not move my needle up, down, left, or right, or backwards. I just don't care for
as a kid, I loved the figure. And he fit right in with my version 3 Snake Eyes and my version 2 Storm Shadow. And I thought the weapons he came with were cool.
Yeah.
But all the reviews, Shark Eye Toy Reviews did his review on it. And I'm like, oh, that's disappointing.
Well, when you get it in your hands and you find out you have your own, your own review, your own whatever, looking at it. But obviously we all probably can gather the same information from each other. And I'm not saying that you don't want the figure or that the desire to have a figure is the same as everybody's yes or no. But from a QC issue, from other issues like that, those are pretty similar usually. Occasionally they vary, but a lot of times they tend to be similar. All right. Well, so you guys know about the Joe news. It's time to move on. Let's see here. Let me go ahead. I didn't know if you briefly wanted to mention your trip to the Dallas Fan Expo this past weekend and just kind of who was there, and we can go over that if you have any pictures you want to share, or if you wanted me to pull a couple up or whatever.
Yeah, just the ones we kind of talked about. I didn't upload anything.
That's cool.
I went to the Dallas Fan Expo. We've been going to that for years, 15 years, whatever, when it was actually Dallas Comic-Con, before they were bought by Fan Expo, and then they transitioned to the convention center downtown. And, it has been a declining event for me, in terms of cost and what they provide every year. So this year we didn't go all 3 days. We only went on one day. And that cost us one of the people we wanted to see because he bailed on his last day.
Oh, no, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I really wanted to see David. From
Oh, yeah.
They lived Gargoyles and everything else, but
Yes.
apparently he was taking his time on Saturday and slowing the line down, so only the VIPs really got through.
Wow.
But he was spending like 5-10 minutes with everybody, which is nice, but at the same time, you've got to get through the line.
Right.
And then he was stopping to take phone calls all the time too, and probably something came up. I don't know, emergency or something that pays a whole lot more came up that he had to bail on his last day. Could have been an emergency. We don't know, but he had to leave. But we went there specifically for Frank Welker and Gray. She changed her last name. Griffin was her previous last name. She just changed it.
You and I, we just talked about this. I think we just
Yeah.
text back and forth about this too. I'm trying to remember who it was that you had told me about.
Gray Griffin was her name previously, and that's what most people know her from. When she did Azula's voice in Avatar: The Last Airbender, when she did Daphne's voice on a lot of Scooby-Doo's.
Yes, that's right.
And then Frank Welker, we were there because of Scooby-Doo. My wife's a huge Scooby-Doo fan. She's got a massive Scooby-Doo collection. And my daughter loves it. It's fun. And so when we met Frank Welker, we had to say, hey, Frank, there's, my wife was like, I've got Scooby-Doo's birthday and my husband has your birthday. So my birthday, Frank Welker's birthday are the same day. And my wife, her birthday was the same day that Scooby-Doo came out. Not the same year, different years, but,
right.
But the same day. And literally, in 1969, Scooby-Doo came out on Friday the 13th.
Okay.
And my wife was born on a Friday the 13th.
Nice. Yeah.
And we had a good time. There was a guy there who had a booth who was a good friend of mine, but I haven't seen for 20 years. And so I got to say hi to him, and we got to chatting for a little bit. He got to meet my daughter, and the last contact I had with him was I taught his son in college for a little bit before he went off the Marine Corps, and then I ran into a YouTuber that we all might know, Robo Don't Know. Robo was there helping a buddy out with one of his booths, and I just saw him helping out with the booth. And I came up to him and I said, "You look like somebody I know." And he goes, "Oh yeah?" And I said, "Some guy named Robo?" He says, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And he was way shorter than I thought he was going to be, but really nice guy.
Isn't that funny though? Sometimes you run into somebody and you're like, they're either way taller, way bigger, way shorter, than you expect. I'm sure that's going to happen coming up with Joe Fest, like because you see someone on camera and it's so different, like that. I did want to bring up real quick, if I can pull these up, and hopefully this is gonna.
And I've got some story about some of these. You maybe.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna share this picture here.
So this right here is a Battlestar Galactica Viper. It is one of 3 that are left in the whole world that were screen use. So this was screen use.
Okay.
And he's gotten just about all of the cast members to sit in it from the original show, and some Star Trek people that come over and Star Wars people that came over and had to sit in it. And it's a children's charity, so all the money that they get from donations goes to that. You don't have to pay to sit in it and get your picture taken.
Okay.
But they do, suggest we're a charity, so
sure.
But they painstakingly move this around to different events. And then this differs from the one that's on TV in the fact that it has a full working light up cockpit with all the stuff inside. Because in the original TV show, it was just a black tub that they sat in, because all of the internal shots of the cockpit had to be done outside, because obviously cameras back in the 70s couldn't exactly fit in that little tiny thing.
Right.
But
That's
it was
super
awesome.
cool, dude. Like that is I when you sent this though, I was like, oh, I'm loving this. Now there's a couple I've got a few others that I'm gonna show. So let's see here if I can get this thing to change for me. That's the key. It's like, still trying to learn how do you
If you have them saved in the same area, you should be able to click like over or something on that wherever you have that file.
I kind of do.
There,
Oh no, there we go. All right. You know who this is. They may or may not know who this is. This fella right
well,
here.
yeah, they may or may not know who that one is. That's Beardo.
Yeah.
Fear
Yep.
the Beardo.
Fear the Beardo.
He was out there running around with a camera on Saturday night, filming everything. Checking everybody out. He was kind of security at the same time.
Sure he is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had a disruptor that was hanging
Great.
outside the event all night trying to make videos
Uh-huh.
until he got arrested. And he got arrested. And I found this out later because Eric was actually talking about it. Not because he was loitering or anything like that, but because he had warrants out for his arrest. And
okay.
I believe he also has a restraining order that Eric July has filed against him. And since Eric was in the building and he was outside the building, when the police found out the whole event, they had to arrest him.
I think
and
I know who it is, but I don't know. We talked
it
about
was.
that.
It absolutely was.
Okay.
And Eric knew nothing of this. So everybody's saying, "Oh, Eric called the cops on the guy." He's like, "No." The bar owners called the cops on the guy because he was disrupting people. He was trying to sell Rip-A-Verse merchandise outside, as well as being disruptive and belligerent to people. And we had to go. And
so just so those of you in the chat and those of you maybe listening, that's not Wraith, Eric Thurman. So Matthew went to there's a group of YouTubers that have a Friday night show called Friday Night Tights. Those YouTubers, it would generally be some people from the Geeks and Gamers I guess group of YouTubers. And Beardo is actually one of those people on Geeks and Gamers. He does a couple shows on there, pops up on a couple other things for their content. Then you have Gary from Nerdrotic, who has now gone over 1 million subs. His channel's gone really big. He's been on Piers Morgan. He's been on Fox. He's doing a lot of big stuff now, but still keeping it real, as you would say it. He's grown and grown and grown. Friday Night Tights, it also includes someone named Eric July occasionally, although Eric July you may better know as a guy who started his own independent comic book universe called the Rip-A-Verse, which has absolutely blown the doors off of indie comics when it comes to sales. And what's interesting about Eric, and I'll show you Eric here if I can get the picture. There's Eric July. Is that a lot of people think the misnomer that he did like an Indiegogo or he did a GoFundMe. No, he paid over $200,000 of his own money to go ahead and pay the writers, pay the artists, pay the printers, pay the shipping, pay the packaging. He went ahead and printed the books, had a warehouse to store them in, then took money to purchase the books. So it's a little different than a lot of creators who will take money to make the books. He actually made the books and then sold the books.
Well, mostly, right?
Yeah.
So he put it $200,000 of his own money into the venture, but he was still looking for, I forget what the exact dollar amount was. It was under $100,000 that he was looking for to help with distribution.
Yeah, with distribution.
Right.
But in essence, go ahead.
The pre-sales for the books, but in essence, yes, he did this with his own money, and he had his own website. He didn't go through any. Nobody took a piece of the money he made except for PayPal, which he would never use again after that first one, and because PayPal held his money and wouldn't give it to him.
Yeah. Now, I just want to mention that This guy made his own product, legit product. Been on YouTube for 15 years, 13 years, whatever it is. He's also a successful musician. Um, and legit product already made, needed to raise $100,000, raised like 3 million. So only
$3.5 million on his first
3.5,
campaign.
yes, his first campaign, $3.5 million. Just needed enough money to pay for distribution. 100,000 was the goal, roughly, right in there somewhere. Reached that in no time, obviously. And then PayPal held his money for months and
Yep.
months and months while he had to figure out how to get these books to people. They kept the millions of dollars that he had raised.
Well, so not everybody went through PayPal.
That's true, but overseas,
and then halfway
PayPal is your main.
Yeah, halfway through the campaign, he shut down the PayPal portion of it and said, "We're not dealing with them anymore. So everybody else, please go this way." And that helped, made sure that he could produce the things that he needed to produce. But and people were ragging on him for saying, "Hey, if we reach this marker, I'm going to buy a new van so I can help with distribution."
Yeah.
People were giving him crap about buying a van. And he says, all these people are paid salary now. I've got these people paid up for the next year, 2 years, right? So I have enough salary for those people should everything else go to pot between now and then, which it won't.
No, because now I've got his 4th book that he's put out. So he has ISOM 1 and 2. And then Yara just came out recently, and then I have Alpha Core that came out months back. So I have all 4 of his comics. These are not just comics. These are graphic novels. These are multiple pages, many page stories.
Yeah, they're almost 100 pages each one of them. So and he's hired Chuck Dixon to work on his stuff now, one of the best comic book writers out there. And Chuck's creating his own character now that's coming out this summer. Their campaign for that was going to launch.
Yeah, Gabe El Taib, who worked for DC, who left DC under very good moral principles.
And then you had the picture with me and the Saska sisters. So he's got the Saska sisters doing the Yara books.
Yep.
They were so sweet.
And super, super cool. They, every time I see them on a stream, they look, wonderful. They seem like they're a lot of fun. There's Gary from Nerdrotic, which you've known for a while now.
Yeah. We don't get to hang out very much, but we've had a lot of video calls and been a moderator in his chat, and he's seen my life changes over the past 5-6 years. and so if at all possible, there's going to be another meetup in October, and I'm going to go down there and have dinner with him and stuff like that. So
that would be awesome. Great channel.
Yeah, he and his wife are an amazing duo, and the stuff that they do. She works behind the scenes in a lot of the stuff now. She does like the merch shop and some of the giveaways on Instagram, and she does a lot of the social media stuff. So that's awesome.
This is the one and only Valiant Renegade, which I know probably most of our watchers may. No, it's Comics Division. My bad, not Valiant. Yeah. I knew it was comics, but every time I see Valiant too, it's like they both of them remind me of the same person. Yeah, Comics Division, who is about 3'8". 3'8", 3'9".
Everybody says how short. Everybody says how short he is, and then he fights it so much that I thought he'd be a little taller. He was pretty short.
Yeah. Comics Division. And the funny thing is, I see him every freaking Friday, and I'm like, "That's Valiant Renegade." Of course, it's not Valiant Renegade. No, it's just Comics Division, and I love him too. He actually is a really sweet dude. You watch his videos. He's a good guy. Really good guy.
He is. Yeah, he is.
And then Jay, Drunk 3PO. Yep, Drunk 3PO, who is very good friends with one Gina Carano. Gina Carano, if you know who that is. Jay somehow was able to get an interview with her during the whole Disney thing with the Mandalorian going down and her getting fired by Disney. And then
they have Friday Night Tights twice.
Yep, got her on Friday Night Tights, which if you ever get a chance on a Friday night, they usually start at 3 p.m. Central, so 4 p.m. Eastern. That's a fun show between a bunch of YouTube creators who do pop culture, comics, just everything, right?
Be
Just
prepared to laugh your butt off
yeah,
and be
yeah,
thoroughly offended at the same
yep,
time. It's
yep,
okay. It's
yep.
okay. Just take it in stride. It's a really fun show.
Yeah, it's a great show. They'll get anywhere from 13 to 20,000, 13 to 18,000 people a night watching on a
Yep.
Friday. But nonetheless, Drunk 3PO Jay here. I actually met him in Nashville on Broadway. He's a sweetheart,
Yeah.
a
He's
really
awesome.
good guy. He is actually doing a children's book right now that is going to blow up big. And just he used to be a teacher. He's actually got a really interesting story. We don't have to get into it here, but he actually has a really interesting story. You talk about somebody that wants to help people,
Oh yeah. No,
like
he's doing all kinds
actually
of stuff.
help
Yeah.
people. This dude
And
is such a nice guy.
you know, he produced his own book recently, also. Right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, he had Blue.
Yep. And
Yeah.
Eric July is in talks with him right now, like this week, after the
Yes.
event and how his book sold out. Eric is talking with him to try and find a way to help him get better distribution for his book, to get it more of it published, get it out
Right.
there, and see if they can work a deal.
And
If it's even possible, or he wants to do that, he's going to help him out.
also, speaking of Eric July, because we mentioned this kind of in chat like a couple weeks ago, Eric July has a deal with Todd McFarlane.
Yep.
So for those of you out there collecting, which is a lot of you, Eric has a deal with Todd McFarlane for a Yara figure, and it is a statue, and it's about $3.99. But man, oh man, does this thing look just ridiculous. It
So
really does.
interesting story about all that is one of the first people that I mentioned to Eric to talk to, and he actually did end up talking with them, was Bobby Valla. And he and Bobby Valla were talking, and he says, well, this sounds great and everything, but where are you making your toys? And he says, well, in China, where all the factories are. And he says, well, they want it produced here in the United States. And he's like, it's not possible. And Bobby tried to explain to him all ways that it's not possible to do that in the United States, and he wouldn't listen. And so but he ended up talking to 2 or 3 other people about the same thing, and then eventually he had to acquiesce and talk to Todd McFarlane. And with the deal with Todd McFarlane, he kind of revealed that, I mean, it's the nature of the beast. There is no manufacturing in the United States. There's no structure for it. You can't do it. So I thought that was interesting. And then so he's got the Yaris statue coming from McFarlane. And if that goes well, they'll look into action figures and stuff.
Oh, dude, the Rippaverse. I mean, you're gonna look. It's only a matter of time. Animation. There's some stuff in the works. I have no doubt about it. That is how people do not have to rely on Marvel and DC anymore if you don't want to, right? And if you're a creator and you want to create your own thing, you can do your own thing. There are more avenues now than ever before to be able to make your dream come true. If you are somebody who is creative and is trying to do something like that, you can reach your customers more directly now. You can find out what your customers like or don't like, and you can pivot quickly now, unlike large corporations. And you can make decisions without a board or a bunch of shareholders and all that stuff. And we've seen people become successful doing it right in front of our faces. And it's great to see. And it's really great to see. It's always like, somebody you followed, man. Some of you guys out there watch YouTube. You watch a lot of YouTubers, man. You watch them come up. You watch them when they had 10,000 subs. You watch It's a Gundam when he first started out. And then you see what It's a Gundam's doing now. Or you see some of these others like, with Nerdrotic and Matthew, and you see these people grow and grow and grow, and they do better and better and better. And it's really cool because you kind of take ownership over that. You're kind of like, yeah, man, I've been following that dude. I've been following her since, whatever. And it's just really cool to see. And so with Eric, man, I mean, guys, it's probably been 5 or 6 years I've been tuning into some of his streams.
Yeah.
And just to see him be successful now is awesome.
And I remember that moment in time where he just said, I'm done. I am not talking about Marvel Comics or DC Comics or any of the comics.
No more stuff on my wall. The only stuff on my wall is going to be my characters, right?
Yep. And well, so he hadn't gotten that far yet. He said he's done with it.
Yeah.
And I think he had already had it in his mind that he was doing this other thing. And then once it started coming to fruition is when he started talking about it. But I remember the day that he said, I won't talk about this anymore. And it had to do, I believe it might've been right around the time of the chaps wearing butt hanging out Spider-Man
Oh
and the
yeah.
wheelchair Spider-Man
Oh,
and
the
all that stuff.
wheelchair Spider-Man was one of
Yeah.
my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was right around then. He said, I'm done with this.
All right, so I'm gonna show just a few more of the pictures here, just to kind of give everybody a little show of this, and then we're gonna move it. We're gonna round second base, maybe third, and we're gonna roll into the
Roll
Acolyte,
into the Acolyte.
and we're it's no holds barred, baby. Okay,
I've got one more story about the Comic-Con while you're showing these pictures and stuff. There's one of I don't know if you guys even are aware of who this is. You guys are mostly too young. You're not, Pop, but some of these other people maybe.
Yeah.
To know who Don Bluth is.
I know who Don Bluth is.
Okay, so Don Bluth created a lot of animated features that we watched as a kid and cried or bawled our eyes out, from No Dog, All Dogs Go to Heaven, to the American with Fievel.
Yes.
Anastasia is one of his last ones before they went bankrupt, but it's some of the most amazing animations. And so we were walking attention, and that's Frank Welker there.
That's Frank Welker. I just wanted to show that one because I love it.
And he was kind of sitting there, and there was nobody hanging around there. So we were going to meet him anyway. We wanted to, right?
Yeah.
And he was there, so we had the time. So we went up and saw him and getting him to sign some stuff. And we were just sitting there chatting with him about animation and how most of the stuff today has no soul because it's all corporate made or computer generated or whatever. And there's Robo.
Yep.
And sitting there talking with him, and he's talking to my daughter. My daughter's telling him how much she loves Secret of Nim and some of the other ones that
what great stuff too. Yeah,
he had a sketch that he was working on of Fievel, and he had already pretty much finished it, and he had signed it at the bottom. And as we're leaving, he says, hold on a minute, what's your daughter's name? And we said, it's Brenna. And then he starts writing out, and then we spelled it for him, and he writes out her name and hands her the sketch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That is so awesome. And,
yep.
If you're of an age, which you and I are, then Don Bluth, obviously, that name. You've watched those animations, right? Like, you know that name very well. And that's actually really cool. And real quick, too, 3-Star Draw says, hit the like button, y'all. Yes, actually, I always mean to mention that. Hit the like button if you like what you hear. If you're on a replay, then hit the like button anyway, right? It doesn't hurt anybody. It only hurts my heart when you don't. Woody Triple Deuce is heading out. He's calling it a night, and I understand. Always good for you to be here, man, and I really appreciate it. And I will be talking to you real soon, because next week Woody Triple Deuce will be one of the guests actually on the show next Tuesday. So that's going to be a good time. He was one of the first people that I came up with that I wanted to bring in and include. And I think that'll be a good time. So, so later, Woody, have a good night, buddy. I know you got to get up early, man. So anyway, I wanted to show the land speeder here and the snow speeder, which, I always love these.
Yeah.
Enough of these. Just super cool. And obviously I love the huge mural or the huge, screen in the back that they've got hung up or whatever with the AT-ATs and everything. It's awesome.
Yep. It was a fun event. They had a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, man.
It usually is a pretty good event. There's drawbacks to it every time. You got to plan everything out when you go out there. You got to know what you're going to do. You can't just go and say, "Oh, to see what happens," because then nothing will happen.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things. I think, you need to have a plan, and I don't even know, coming up for Joe Fest, like I've never been, this is my first one. So it's like, okay, well, do I need to, check the rundown? Do I just need to see what's happening and then just hit the floor running? I think some of that I'll get from 3-Star, cause we're rolling together. We'll get an idea. together, I'm sure, and then we should be very easy to find. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. But we should be really easy to spot, and we'll divulge that actually coming up here before the trip. But we should be very easy to see. Anyway, all right. So let's get into the meat of it. I want to know your thoughts. They've heard my thoughts on the Acolyte. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. Episode 1, The Acolyte. Now, we can actually go into episode 2 as well. You've had a chance to watch it. I've had a chance, obviously, to watch it as well. Okay. Just base impressions of the first couple episodes. Give me your just kind of first impressions.
I'm. What do I say? It's better than the Ahsoka show because the writing and direction is a little bit better. That's not saying much. I thought the first 2 episodes were distracting because they had 15 to 20 plot holes each and probably half a dozen plot contrivances that really take you out of the story. The 3rd episode, we can talk about it later, but it's the 3rd episode was probably the best written episode. But there's some caveats to go with that too, because I'm not seeing what some people are saying. It's lore breaking or whatever, but there's some things there that are obviously like, it just doesn't make any sense. And maybe I need to go back and watch it again because I don't want to, but maybe I better, because if there was some verbiage in there that I might have missed, which I may have, but this show is pointless.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you that it's pointless. I don't know where this story needed to be told. Now, because it involves characters we do not know, okay, most of the shows, or if all, have involved characters we're familiar with, correct? This is one of those ones that has 0 characters in it.
It will have one.
I assume there's going to be one. I'm pretty sure I know who that one is.
Right.
But just from the outset, with the marketing you've been given, with the trailers you've been given, we don't know that yet, correct? Right? Until maybe tonight, whatever. All right, or even tomorrow, or what you
know. It maybe the next episode.
Right. So what we've been given, it's characters we don't know. Okay, now that can be exciting, that can be good, right? Yep. But it has to be a show that's written well, acted well, shot well, and makes sense. Because when it doesn't and isn't any of those things, then that's where you get what we've got with this show.
Yeah.
Could it have been good? Could the premise have been good? So let's run down the premise. Let's run down the premise real quick for those who haven't heard. And I'm going to guess probably the people that maybe listened to me Friday have heard it. But the premise is, unfortunately, that they ruined in the first episode, mind you, they ruined what could have been a mystery, but they solved the mystery literally within the first episode or 2. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 2 twins who the Jedi went to their village to because of being force sensitive. An accident happens. A fire is started. Now we have not seen. Okay, maybe episode 3. I have not seen episode 3 yet.
That's all episode 3 is about.
Okay,
it's all the pre-story.
Okay, so from what we get in episode 1 and 2, for those of you looking out for it, and obviously episode 3 is out, but if you haven't seen episode 1 or 2, you're probably not going to watch 3. There's an accident. The Jedi are there to get a a child or a couple. They find one that is force sensitive, correct? Um, the other one creates an incident. There's a terrible fire. It wipes out everybody basically for the
Well,
most
so
part.
so they know that both children are force sensitive.
Right. But they only decide to choose one, correct?
Only one wishes to go.
One wishes to go. Right, right, right. Okay, that's it. One wishes to go. So, so the Jedi basically are portrayed as what I had said on Friday was, um, in the first couple episodes, they're portrayed as kidnappers, basically.
In the first couple episodes, they're defund the police. They're the evil fascist
Yes.
controllers of the universe, and everybody needs to rebel against the authority that is the Jedi, and they try to make them look really bad in every scene.
In every scene.
So
And
the third episode actually presented more of a balanced and fair light, which is interesting.
okay,
But
and maybe that's why what you're saying about you think it's the best written, because the first episode has some of the blandest dialogue, and some of the scenes that I watched, that which the whole thing I was bored to tears. Now to kind of finish up on that whole the overview, nonetheless, one of the twins trains to be a Jedi for some years. She's dissatisfied. She leaves the order. The other one is thought to have perished in a fire at the village.
And he saw her die.
Right.
And the first line he says is, "Don't trust your eyes; they will deceive you."
Okay.
And then he's like, "I saw her die. You must believe me. She's dead."
Okay. So let's see if I can get this thing to cooperate. So to give you a quick rundown, someone's killing Jedi. Now, 3-star draw. This show airs at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, correct? On Disney Plus. Okay, because the third episode aired just before we went on live. I would have actually watched it, but I was trying to get a little prepared and do a couple other things. So that's what time it comes on. It comes on at 9 Eastern, 8 Central every Tuesday night. So you could watch it and then have 30 minutes to do whatever before this show starts. And we'll be going over episode 3 and 4 next week. But just to kind of go through this first episode, or to the overview, to be done with it. Someone's killing Jedi. It's a mystery. It's a murder mystery, right? So
they gave away the answer in the trailer before the show ever aired. They gave away 2 things in the trailer before the show ever aired.
Yes. But their overview was, well, it's a murder mystery. So you think, okay, cool. A murder mystery could play out over 8 episodes. That could be fun. It's a cop show. Who knows what this will turn out to be? Maybe it turns into Law and Order, where the back half they bring them to the Jedi Council and they have a trial. Who knows that. But no, they basically solve their own mystery in the first episode. They ruin it in the trailers. But here we get the antagonist girl that shows up to a bar. She asks this random alien, "Where's your Jedi?" Now, we know nothing of the show. It's just started. So you see this person. She shows up. She says, "Where's your Jedi?" The alien points in a random direction. He goes, and she's like, "Oh, it must be this one building in the shot." So she goes in the building. She walks up, goes to the bar, looks around, asks about a Jedi. He doesn't say anything. Then she walks over to the corner and she sees a Jedi sitting with some folks here. And she says, "Jedi, we have business." And then she says, "Fight me."
She
Fight
says,
me.
Attack me.
Attack me.
Attack me with all of your might.
With all of your might. And of course, Trinity.
Because that's what Jedi do, right? They always attack people.
Yeah, they attack people. But then later she says, well, and not only that, but then there's a line where she says, you only draw your lightsaber when you're going to attack or kill. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not true either.
Well, because in the next scene, somebody uses their lightsaber as a flashlight.
As a flashlight. Okay. So anyway, she says, "Look, I appreciate your courage. I have no quarrel with you. I don't want to fight you." our protagonist gets in her stance, which she's prone to do in the second episode as well.
Yep.
And she says, "Don't fight me with all your might." And then she proceeds to attack the people at the table with her. The Jedi stands there and watches her take down about 4 or 5 people without doing anything at all.
So we have the first plot contrivance right there. The gun gets stuck in the guy's belt.
So there's a guy who gets so number one, she's like 90 pounds. She beats up like 3 guys, and then one guy she throws over her shoulder or something, or kicks him, and he goes flying back into the bar. Then there's a table that gets turned over, and there's a table between her and this guy who got kicked. And meanwhile, she's holding another guy, and the guy that got kicked has a gun, and he goes to point the gun at her. And when he does,
bartenders, but she couldn't touch Trinity. She couldn't touch any of the Jedi. You know, she had nothing on them. And then all of a sudden, she wins because Trinity decides to commit suicide. Basically,
yeah, it makes no sense because a Jedi Master would be able to fend off like one knife throwing at somebody, one knife at herself. She would not lose concentration. And it's a classic trope you see in movies where somebody looks one way and then all of a sudden they're shot. And it's like, well, why would you just totally look that way? You've been stopping knives. You've been stopping all this stuff. You haven't had to look at them.
Right.
You've been
and not only that, if you couldn't hold 2 of them at the same time, you drop the one that has already stopped momentum.
Yes.
You drop it to the ground and then deflect the other one with your hand or with the force, whatever.
Right.
But just, I mean, it's dumb.
So this is where the other one, you see that now where it actually goes right there, like in the heart, so to speak, or right in the middle.
Okay.
Not quite in the shoulder blade or the chest, but nonetheless,
okay.
My point being is that a Jedi Master, listen, everything we've ever seen out of any Jedi in Star Wars, for the most part, this would never happen.
Nope.
So it automatically brings to your mind that, like, okay, this is weird. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And this is just the first few minutes of the show, mind you.
Yep.
Now,
and I call it a plot hole when she talks about that. It's like, nah, Jedi don't kill people intentionally. They don't pull their swords out and just start hacking people up like younglings.
Right. So the antagonist at the very end, after she kills Trinity, I love it, Trinity, Indara, she walks up to the bartender. She's about to kill him, and then what pops out from behind him? A little child.
A kid. Oh, so this person has a heart of gold. This villain has a heart of gold, so she can't be all evil. There's no such thing as good and evil, and all the other nonsense.
That's right. She is misunderstood. Bobby Wold is in the house, by the way. I got to throw that up there.
Yeah.
What is this? Mostly full thing of Star Wars nowadays. Butter knives, forget lightsabers, and yes, we have seen lightsabers practically mean nothing in Star Wars now.
They mean nothing. Qui-Gon was a punk.
Yeah, he
should have died. You know, he's the only one who's died with a lightsaber through the chest. I'm just saying.
Especially if we're considering like the Disney Star Wars, and we're talking about those moments like that. Yes. So we've watched our antagonist beat up the whole bar. We've watched her put innocent people in danger. We've watched her kill a Jedi Master. But then, by God, when she walks up to the bartender, she decides, oh, he has a child. So that tells the audience, oh, she has a heart because she once was a child. Right? We don't know anything about her, but that's telling us subliminally, oh, there's something there. She didn't kill him because there's a kid. That must be something really important, right?
Yep.
So we move to the next scene. We get our protagonist, her twin, in a ship. You get a little scene of her waking up. There's an alarm going off, and then we have our
you got your emasculating moment with the guy coming up and saying, "Hey, where were you?" Oh,
our numanoids, and I want to get this right because and I know I want to share this on Chrome. I want to make sure that I am actually that we hear this because I wanted to play this. I wanted this to be played with sound. I want you to hear the accent. Okay. Do you remember what these guys sounded like in the Phantom Menace?
I mean, even George got backlash on what he did there, and so he had to change him for the future movies to not be as bad.
But what's
And that, but yeah,
I have issues only because then what is, you know, if you're in a fantasy world, if you're talking about fictional characters, then are they supposed to have a zero accent? Are they just supposed to be nothing but subtitles? Right? Is that what we're supposed to do? And everything they say just is a bunch of mishmash. I
yeah. I
just
mean,
don't know why you can't. To me, this seems like, you know, Disney obviously going out of their way to say, look, you know, we're not going to portray this alien culture as Asian. But if you're Asian, is that something that you even think about? Like, I don't know. I can't speak for an Asian person. I just think it stands out. It really stands out like a sore thumb
well,
to
I
me.
mean, okay. Well, let's go back to this then. Does everyone from the same species have the same accent? No.
That's true. That's true, and I'll give you that. Absolutely.
And,
And I definitely took that into account the other day as well. That's
yeah,
true.
that was the least of any kind of concern.
Oh,
Uh,
sure. Yeah, no. Listen, it's not at the top. Now there's our campfire. Flames and all.
burning in the
Burning
vacuum.
nonstop. Look at that. In the
Yep.
vacuum of
No,
space.
no fuel source. No fuel source throwing it out there. It's
Right?
not. It's not shooting out some kind of fuel that's being lit on fire. It's not turning into a big cloud. It's not just an exploding vapor that disappears
Right.
like would happen. And you know, it's fantasy. I mean, they have Disney put horses riding on the outside of Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's Disney. They don't care about logic, as per their scripts.
And
They don't have
I don't
any.
I guess the thing of it is that yes, that's true. But the thing of it is that yeah, not caring about logic or whatever. You know, look, I get it. And I understand, but I also think as you start to add the things up throughout, uh it's just one more notch on the list of things
Yes.
where there's like would not one
Yep.
writer say uh,
Three
I'll let
star.
you take this, Matthew.
3 star. No. That's if there was oxygen as a fuel source. Oxygen is a gas, right? And so if there was gas that was leaking and it was lit on fire, what would happen is it would just go explode and be done. There would be no burning flame, because even if the oxygen was shooting straight out, wouldn't matter. All of that oxygen is going to get lit on fire. It's going to go in, cause an explosion, and then there's no more oxygen. It's all burned up in an instant because you're in a vacuum and those particles are going to dissipate. So there's no flames going like this uh, in a vacuum.
Yeah, it looks like a campfire, and what you would
Yeah.
have is exactly that. So we've seen in other Star Wars shows and whatnot, we've seen where you had explosions, right? People say, "Oh, well, there's fires. You got fires on these Star Destroyers is going down." Yeah, but you're if you're talking about, you know, ships coming apart or whatever, then yeah, you're going to see that. But for the most part, you don't just see open flames like you're having a
Yep.
campfire and a weenie roast outside. And that's what makes this stand out
Yep.
so much is they're in the vacuum of space, standing outside on a ship, and they're just looking at this flame, and it's just
I mean, why'd they
going
have to put
and
on pressure suits? Why,
well,
why
right,
did they have to put
right,
on pressure suits to go
yeah.
out there?
Yeah, it just stands out, and I think it's just one more thing again that I think you notice as you watch. Now, the funny thing is too is there's the fire. She's looking at it. It remind you know you kind of get this not a flashback, but you do get
Yep.
this kind of thing about a inkling of her
Yep.
remembering as a child what happened to her village, and then we
Yep.
get two Jedi who show up.
And
Now,
these Jedi are the biggest assholes on the planet
look.
because
Okay, go ahead, because I have something to say about this too.
I mean, they showed up to arrive to. I mean, their full intent is to arrest the murderer of a Jedi Master, and you show up with a Jedi Knight and a Padawan to arrest somebody who slaughtered apparently a Jedi Master, and there's no support. There's nothing else here besides the two of them, and they go in there, and what do? They rip the out of their minds. So clearly they're the bad guys.
Yes, so they go in. All right, the Numenorians, right? No, that's Lord of the Rings. Oh my god,
Nemordians.
Numoidians. That's it, Numoidians. Okay, whew. All right. So, yes, they basically mind drape the
Yeah, no, yeah. I
and
mean,
because they say, okay, where's the Jedi or where's the mechanics? They say, oh well, the Republic doesn't allow mechanics now. It's only droids that can repair stuff. Now, mind you,
they call them mechnics.
they call them mechanics. They just came flying to this ship with two people standing outside, very easily noticeable by a flame on this ship outside, and they show up looking to see if they have someone. And it's like, yes, of course they do. They were standing outside the ship. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it could have been any alien species, but it was goofy because it's like, yeah, you just flew by. And how many times have we seen a flyby of an area in a Star Wars show and they're looking down at the person standing there or, from a ship? I just thought that was so goofy that they
No.
flying up, and then while she's out on the repairing the flame, the guy beside her says, friends of yours? And
Yeah.
it's like, what? But they're flying right by them. So they can see two people out there working, and yet, the Numenoids, they say, no, they're Numidians, they say, no, we only have droids allowed. The Republic only allows droids to work in space, in the vacuum. Anyway, he mind drapes the guy, and he says, the wife or whoever his partner is on the ship says, no, they're on sub whatever.
Whatever. Yep. There it is.
So here they go to find her. These two know each other.
Oh,
Obviously when they
shocker!
were
They know each other, and this guy has a big chip on his shoulder about it. And
chip
then
on his shoulder. Yep.
he's got to tell her own story. So this is all point
Give us
because they
exposition.
can't show anything. They have to tell you that
Yes.
her mothers and her sister died
Yes.
in a village in a fire.
Yes, her mother's and her sister, and I also went over that some on Friday. I had a little fun with that, but it is what it is. Look, there's backstory here. They're giving us that these two know each other. They train together. Obviously, it seems like he likes her. She left the order.
Yeah.
She didn't know that he would become a Jedi Knight, which he has become. However, she can't believe that, so he wants to make it a point to tell her. And then they ask her where, well, someone murdered Master Indara. And she's like, I've been doing this for, 6 years or whatever. I left the order 6 years ago. This is all I've been doing. And so mind you, she has an alibi because she's been on this ship, right? Yep. So they just mind draped the two aliens on their ship to find out she was here.
Yep.
Instead of doing that to her, okay, they ask her. She says, "Yeah, I've been here." Instead of believing her because there's an alibi, okay, instead, I want to find him because they bring him in. They put her in cuffs. They bring the bartender. They bring
who left his bar. Why would he leave his bar? He's on a whole different planet. How far away? How long did it take him to get there? I mean, obviously there's instantaneous teleportation travel in the Disney Star Wars universe because all of a sudden appear there and the bartender has no problem taking off work, shutting down his bar to go hunt down this person who he has no stake in the Jedi's murder. I mean,
yes, this makes no sense.
Nothing to do with his bar.
They bring the bartender with them to go find her. And then he runs into the room and he goes, "That's her. That's the one. She did it. She shot up my bar," or whatever, And it's like, what are you talking about? This is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous.
I mean, why was, I mean, that's not the way you do an investigation on any level. That's not the way we've ever seen an investigation done. You don't just have the witness come in and charge in to attack the person.
They literally took the poor bartender by spaceship. Legend
so they
Series.
kidnapped the
What's going
bartender,
on,
right? I
Legend
mean,
Series? How you doing, buddy?
what's up?
We're just going over the Acolyte first episode here before we wrap things up. Yes, it is silly. The crime was committed. They come to find her. They bring the bartender from his bar. That's the goofiest thing, right? To
Yeah.
bring her. So there's no hollow, there's no nothing. And so he positively identifies her. We know that's going to happen, right? So she goes down with the ship, and so then
Now we're about ready to meet the most insufferable character in the entire show.
we are now. Hang on, so because this is the part I hate about Disney Plus is that I have ads. So we'll give it just a moment here, just a minute. All right, so up to this point, we've seen the evil sister go into a bar, immediately identify the Jedi at the bar. She tells her, attack me, with all your might or all your, whatever. She kills a Jedi Master.
No. She allows the Jedi Master to kill herself.
Well, that's true. She does. She allows her to kill herself by allowing a knife to penetrate her chest. Then we immediately go to this other sister, our protagonist, on the ship, putting out a campfire in space where there's no oxygen, that burns for quite a while too, right? It's just flickering, right? They could have made some s'mores or something like that. So we get that scene. She goes back inside, but before she goes back inside, the Jedi fly up. They get a great view of her and her partner on top of the ship, right? So they know that there's two people outside working in space. They go inside, and then they're told that we don't have any humans working outside. It's only droids. They do a mind drape. They find out that she's there. They tell her that there's been a murder, even though she has an alibi. She has a perfect alibi
and witnesses.
Witnesses.
Okay, and unless she was right next to the planet that it happened on, which they made no reference to time or space because we don't know how far away they actually were. So how could she have gotten off the ship to go do that and then back on? The ship didn't seem to have any other vessels attached to it.
Yes.
So there's no, unless the entire ship was there. I mean, they had to have been docked there, right? I mean, there's no other way.
So, but even then, the aliens that are on the ship, they still want her to work for them, right? So they wouldn't, they would say, no, she's been here. She's been here. This is our employee, whatever. But instead, they bring the bartender with them. The bartender comes barging in and says, no, that's the one. She's the one that did it. Mind you,
because we all know how reliable eyewitnesses are, don't we? Because eyewitnesses are the most reliable thing.
All right. So we've gotten that far. She gets on the prison ship. She escapes, right? All right. So she escapes. Here we go. We get Soul, our Squid Game guy, with his Padawan. The Padawan wants to, come up and ask him about
No. She's not asking him about anything. She's lecturing
Well, no, that's true.
him.
She's lecturing him, yes.
Because that's all she does, is she lectures every male that she comes in front of.
All right, so this Vernestra, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant's wife, they've gone to the planet to find where the ship went, where the prisoners escaped. They have actually gathered up the escape pod. They've rounded up the prisoners.
Both escape pods, by the way.
Both escape pods. But instead, what's up, Conhuesos? How you doing, man? So instead of going down to the planet, since they're right above it, and looking for survivors in the ship, what do?
Nothing smart.
They bring the prisoners all the way back to Coruscant and then say, we need to send you on a mission to go look for survivors on the ship, on the planet they were just above, recovering the prisoners
Hey, but I told you before, they use teleportation devices. It's instantaneous travel to anywhere in the galaxy. Because
Yes.
way back in the past, they had that ability to
Yes.
just poof and you're there. There's no hyperspace travel. It just you step across the wall and boom, you're there.
Yes, it makes no sense to do that. It's illogical, it's dumb, and the only reason they did it is so they could have a reason to bring Soul, the
Yeah,
former master of our Padawan who was on the prison ship,
yeah.
to go reunite with her. And it's so, I mean, how contrived do you have to get? Like they could not have written any other way. I mean, no, it makes no sense. You
It
travel
it
all the way there. You
yeah.
recover the escape pods. You can look for the ship and see if there's a survivor and bring that person back. But instead, you travel all the way back to Coruscant just to then send a party out to go look for the people in the girl in the ship.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking normal Star Wars time frame, it would. We don't know where they are in the galaxy, but we assume that it's nowhere near Coruscant.
No,
So it's got to take at least weeks to get to Coruscant, right?
but
And,
they
and
can
then
get
weeks
there in a half a day.
and weeks to get back. I mean, time and space mean nothing to people that are this high when they're writing.
So then they asked the one prisoner. He hadn't asked him. He uses a mind drape again, which we've seen them do a couple times now. So he mind drapes him, and he says, "Oh,
They never use it when it's actually
never use it
necessary.
when it's needed,
Yeah,
right?" But this guy says, "Oh yeah, she helped me. She helped me to escape, although I, pushed her out of the way and left her
yep,
behind. But
yep.
instead, she helped me to escape. So we're establishing that she's really kind, really nice, right? She's a good woman. She's good. Um, except
What? Except when they do.
except when they light their red lightsaber.
Oh, it's a red lightsaber. He Vadered. He Vadered.
He Vader, dude, he
Yeah.
Vader. And I
And,
want
and
to.
you know what? He didn't look like he was going to kill anybody with that lightsaber. I mean, he just lit it
What
for
the
no
hell
reason
is he
other.
even doing? It's so
I mean,
stupid,
is he trying to show off his
Matthew.
his junk? I mean, what is that? Is oh god.
Matthew, my IQ is not one of the highest out there. I'm not stupid. I am stupid, but I'm not stupid because I know it. I know I'm not that smart of a person. Smart enough to see shite when I see it.
Yeah.
But this show makes me want to bash my head into the closet doors. It's so bad. It's and then the end there, it was so goofy. And when you see it, it's like, get out of here. What are you even trying to say?
Yeah.
Um
No, it doesn't make any sense. It has, like I said, a minimum of 16 plot holes and 6 plot contrivances. And they get worse the more you think about it, and the more you look over it. The dialogue is terrible. The acting is not good. Um,
yeah.
I don't know that I'll be able to tolerate the show past episode 4.
I gotta be
Um,
honest with you, and I don't blame you one bit. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I will watch episode 3. I'll probably watch it here in a few minutes.
yeah.
And then I will watch episode 4 Friday on the stream. Friday, I will discuss at 1 Eastern, noon Central on Friday on the same channel here on Pop Blender. I will discuss episode 2 and 3. I will spare you from having to go through that and get space herpes.
I
Um,
mean, I wouldn't mind talking about episode 3, but you guys can talk about it without me while I'm not
well,
there.
and
That's
and 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 when you come back, if you want to touch up on it, I have no
I might
problem with
spend
that.
10 minutes on it or something.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't have to do a deep dive. I just want to kind of roll through that with you a little bit and kind
Yeah.
of look at how goofy this is.
Yeah.
Um, I for everybody out there that's in the chat, I know everybody's been watching that news for the dragonfly, and I fully understand that. Usually, I try to keep this stream to a tight 2 hours because I know that our boy Matthew has to get his sleep. He's got an early riser. I do not, but he does, and so I don't want to keep him any later. But I will say that I am doing a stream tomorrow night on 3-Star Draws channel. It is our Sevens Wild. It is a G.I. Joe show exclusively. We'll be breaking down, obviously, the news. We'll be looking forward to Joe Fest because we won't have another stream, he and I, before then. So we'll be doing those things tomorrow night, starting at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And we'll be breaking down some of the news today. Looking forward to Joe Fest and bringing some other things to the table. What about yourself, Matthew? What have you got going on coming up here, buddy?
I got photos coming out every week. I don't have any other streams scheduled that I know of because I'm going on vacation for a little bit. But the good news is House of the Dragon comes out on Sunday, so we have something to look forward to watching.
Sir, yes, sir. I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with that. But other than that, I'll be at the DFW G.I. Joe action figure toy show. I'm gonna try to be there all 3 days, get some of that Valverse info and hang out with some guys that I know from the chats that are going to be there and see what's going on.
And also too, I'm looking at trying to figure out how to maybe do a live from Joe Fest also. I don't know how that's going to work, but if I can kind of work that out somehow too. I may try to get a hold of you somehow, kind of looking into the logistics of it. We're going to see what we can kind of make happen. But that could be fun. But yeah, that's going to be a blast, obviously, for you. I wish you were going to Joe Fest, but I understand definitely, where you're going. And so, yeah, man, we'll wrap it up here. Obviously I know I do, and I know that Matthew, go ahead. You want to answer that too?
Yeah, I don't have a channel that I'm streaming on YouTube wise. Really, I've got some things here and there, but I'm on Instagram, and I have Instagram posts that I do every day for my action figure photography. But we're looking at something. I'm gonna talk to Pop about a couple things, see what we can do.
Yeah, man. But I do really appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, especially on a day where there's such big news and we got a lot of people we know doing streams about the Dragonfly and stuff. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out. I appreciate stream skipping back and forth. I've done that many times as well. And so, yeah, man, I guess obviously I won't see you, Matthew, next week, but I do have some special guests lined up for next Tuesday that all of you know who they are. And I will divulge that information in the next few days on my community tab to let y'all know. Again, tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, I'll be with 3-Star Draw on his channel doing our Sevens Wild G.I. Joe show. And then I'll be back by myself solo on this channel at 1 Eastern with a solo stream during midday if you ain't got nothing to do. Otherwise, I guess we'll see you guys next time. You got anything else to add, brother?
Nope. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, man. Really appreciate it. Y'all have a fantastic rest of the night, and I'll play this bad boy to roll out right now. Thanks.